So welcome to my cabinet of curiosities. And I'm here with Sheila today to go through drawer by drawer. Not all in one.
Absolutely not.
Because there's a lot. There's a lot there. But we're going to look at one drawer randomly chosen. I can't remember what's in it. And we're going to pull things out.
And do our
Talk
best.
about them.
Do our best to tell some of the stories of the pieces that we find.
Yeah.
Because if one of us has forgotten the other one, I'm sure
we'll remember.
We'll remember.
Yeah. Randomly choose.
Go for it.
A drawer.
Good luck.
So I'm just gonna go close my eyes. Go somewhere down here. And I've got one. So this is 1, 2, 3. And it's 2.
Row 3, drawer 2.
Drawer 2.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to pull it out and pop it onto the table.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yes. This is a good
Oh,
one.
look.
This is a good one to start with.
It's Kermit.
Well,
sorry. I'll just hide that.
That's okay.
That's my son's.
Family heirlooms are bound to crop up. Aren't they?
Well, how embarrassing.
But
anyway, there you go.
Lovely. Lovely.
Really nice.
Gosh, where to start?
Where to start? Because we've got. Oh look, we've got a little bit of. Oh look, RipplesCrafts.
Oh,
that's Helen Urquhart. Look at that! Isn't that beautiful? That's
it's the
sock yarn.
It's the sock yarn from our book.
From the socks in the book.
Exactly. So
Helen made that especially for us, and we absolutely loved that colour.
Yes.
So that's one of the yarns that we commissioned for the sock. Sheila, your go.
Okay.
Have to have a rummage.
Well,
Oh,
do you remember this die?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember? So we had a good friend, a lady called Rosemary, who came to Knit Club. This is a few years ago now. And she wasn't a particularly experienced knitter, but she had definitely found some yarn that she loved in.
This is lovely.
In what you had. Well, this is the Cashmere version, of course. And she wanted. She was a dog walker, and she wanted a lovely warm thing to put round her neck, but she wanted to try lots of different patterns. So we suggested that she did one that she could
3 strips
that could work like
and then plaited.
Yes 3 strips of different patterns, so
different textures.
In this one we have actually we have 2 of moss, because this is actually quite marled yarn, so it wouldn't necessarily show up. But the one I did for Rosemary, and in fact we do still use it today in some of our workshops, it was a Gansey sampler scarf.
That's right.
And I did lots of.
That's right.
Yes.
That's where that started.
That's where that started for Rosemary. So hers, she had in beautiful sort of russet tones, different yarns. She had a strip of knit, stocking stitch, a strip of moss, but the 3rd strip in the plainest yarn was actually a series of different Gansey patterns, and she'd never knitted that before.
Yeah,
and then we wound them all
together
for her. So you start with all your stitches at the bottom, and then you finish with all your stitches
at the bottom.
But you need to have plaited them before you cast off. That's that.
And that is where our Gansey scarf workshop came from.
Yes.
I'd forgotten all about that.
Rosemary's, I have it in my database at home. I have it as
right.
Rosemary's sampler.
Oh.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Gosh, that started a knit club, didn't it?
It did. It did.
So,
Okay.
that's this. I love this.
Well, that's the more recent
That's the recent
version.
one.
This is the original,
And there's the original.
and this dates back to about 2012 when I was just I joined the company formally, and we were doing a project for Topshop Unique, and we were commissioned to knit quite a lot of these in either
Sweaters.
in either black with red motif or red with black motif. They were knitted in Italian merino.
Yes, they were.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Di had to develop a way of making them 3D.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's right. So actually they're Intarsia, and
so when I knitted them, I carried the yarn in strips up, not across, but up.
But using pearl stitches to raise it out of the fabric, so it's a 3D. And one of the reasons for that is so that it couldn't be machine knitted, and to keep it unique,
I did tell you, didn't I, that very soon after we finished this project, I was walking along the street and I saw in what we would call now a fast fashion shop, I saw a version of this within hours, more or less, of us sending off the final ones, but it was completely flat. So it was a black background. It had been machine knitted somewhere on the other side of the world, probably. But the crosses were completely flat.
Yeah.
But it was frightening how quickly they turned it around. Someone took a photograph and
a supermodel wore one and photographed, and then.
But
away.
it was we, like all these projects that we do for other people, we learned a lot, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
And then we were able to take it,
and the 3D knitting, knitting kind of raising something out of the base fabric.
Yes.
Something I'm really interested in.
Yes.
And then this became.
Yes.
So we did an amazing piece. Do you remember for the Dumfries House for the Prince's Foundation? She's now the King's Foundation, and we did a big Sanka knitting based piece, which I threw.
Which was photographed on a tree, a big tree.
It was
Dumfries House.
It was wrapped around a tree.
Yeah.
But it had the Sanka motifs, and then I kind of threw in a different colour in a raised cross.
Because we were looking for more 3D.
And actually it was so effective, wasn't it?
So I revisited this 10, 11 years later.
Yeah.
Thinking, do I remember how to do this? Well, I took this piece home, looked at, sort of deconstructed it, and then, but bulked it up a bit.
So this is in our Lalland.
This is in the
but so that's what's so interesting about having the samples.
Well, thank goodness we had this.
So then you can put it into a completely different project.
Yeah.
And use it in lots of different ways, which I absolutely love. I love that.
Yeah.
So Sheila, your go.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to talk us through. I know what this is, but this predates me, doesn't it?
Yes.
In Di Gilpin terms.
Yes.
This is from the Danish Rose, isn't it?
It's a Danish Rose.
So you need to talk us through that one, because I
think there's still a pattern on Ravelry for this.
Oh, okay.
Certainly the hat. There's a beret and mittens. I think they might even be free on Ravelry. But so this is 15, 20 years ago, maybe. And I love this rose
So it's
pattern.
it's an Intarsia
Intarsia.
piece, or on the garment was it stranded?
No, because it's knitted in pieces.
Oh, okay.
And
So
the
Intarsia.
design actually is really nice because it's got godets, it's got side panels. So it's a really flattering shape. And the pocket, one of the pockets had this on as well.
Very pretty.
And then the little period pattern at the bottom is...
So this again predates our lamb's wool.
Yeah, so this is 20 years old probably. This is...
so which yarn were you using at
this
the time?
was Rowan British Breeds.
Ah, okay.
With that is JC Rennie.
Some Shetland.
Yeah, so completely different feel.
Very very lovely colours though.
Beautiful colours.
So that's definitely a bit of a blast from the past.
That's a definite blast from the past. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then what's this? Oh, that's lovely. So that looks like Norrow Silk Garden. You know the Silk Garden?
So this actually has a label on it.
Oh.
Might not be the... Oh, yes, it is. Print of the Wave.
Print of the Wave.
That is that pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Print of the Wave.
Now, so I love this pattern. It's a really classic lace, Shetland lace pattern. And again, there is a pattern on Ravelry because I made these into pants.
We did pants. I did the tweed
made
version.
them into Tuscan palazzo pants.
We did. We still have them.
We've got some
We still
upstairs.
Have them. Yeah.
I made them for London Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and we sent the tweed ones, didn't we?
We made tweed ones. They went to New York for a photo shoot. Right.
I was thinking they went to Japan, but they would have been too long to go to Japan. But New York, yes.
Yeah, because we do have also a really nice pair of leggings on Ravelry, lace leggings.
Yes, dating from the London Fashion Week Gansey.
So that was 2011.
We will, on our voyage through the drawers, I'm sure we will come face to face with quite a few of these.
Absolutely.
But this is beautiful, isn't it? I love these colours.
The Norrow was absolutely lovely. Silk Garden, really special. And then, oh my gosh. So this is quite a piece. Do you remember this?
I do indeed.
So
I really do. Yeah.
That is quite an interesting piece.
It's a sample. So this is beautiful, beautiful cashmere, plied up multiple times, wound, and then
this was actually the sleeve.
This was the sleeve of a greatcoat.
It would
knitted
sit
in this. Yeah.
Sit like that.
So there was a big cable up the centre, and then to make it even bigger, Di had this brilliant idea of threading an I-cord through the cables.
And making knots and turns.
To make it even more
sculptural.
Yes.
So it looked like when it was worn, an alabaster sculpture.
Yeah.
Italian, that was my aim, was to get that Italian sculptural look.
Yeah.
And that was for the catwalk. That was for Edinburgh Fashion Week.
Yes, and so that was our big project that we did
with grey and black. And in fact the toile for this, because you get sent a toile, So the designer
like
has
a sewing pattern,
the shape.
cut out, paper cut out of the
And
shape.
that he'd worked at Ferragamo. So Ferragamo made up the toile for me in Jersey. And then I had to make the jacket in panels, lots of panels, all sewn together with a tailored collar.
So that was the first time I had knitted. I had
got a gusset,
knitted
hasn't it?
well, it's got linings. The collar is lined at the back to give it
sit up.
Yeah, to give it that air of importance, because that's what it needed, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it was full length.
Very important. And double-breasted. It's all coming back to me now.
With those beautiful
Buttons.
Celtic buttons, silver, handmade for it.
Yeah, it was an amazing piece. It was one of about a dozen pieces that we did. We'll probably come across some of the others.
Yeah.
But we remember it vividly.
Yeah.
Well, of course, this is knitted in Sorcia, so there are two things to say about this. If I talk about the pattern, you can talk about the wool.
Yes,
is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So this pattern, we still use it today, and this is actually available. It's part of our set of patterns. It's called the Arabesque, and we have it in beautiful gilet with a big, comfy, cozy collar. We also have it in wrist warmers. And this is something that we developed for a huge project that we did for Japanese television.
Was that for Japanese TV?
Yes. And we knitted them. We knitted dozens of them, and we knitted about 25 of the gilets.
Oh my gosh!
It was all developed for the Japanese market.
Yeah,
and they all sold out in minutes.
That was an incredible.
They all sold out in minutes. So
I'd forgotten about that. That is.
And you and I spent a week in Tokyo.
We had a week in Tokyo, which was amazing. And then we had to do this live TV program with simultaneous translation.
Yeah,
translator stood at the shoulder.
Yes.
And every time we made 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And every time a collection sold out, this massive gong rang, and everyone clapped, and yeah.
It was quite an experience. It was quite an experience. I was sitting knitting quietly in the corner in a leather armchair, trying furiously to finish the piece that I was doing. It was a small piece, but I wanted to finish it while we were still on air. And then someone came along off camera and took my chair away. So I carried on knitting standing up, and the people on the television set couldn't quite believe that I could knit standing up, and they stopped and clapped. And it was all a bit surreal but lovely.
It was surreal and lovely.
But this is actually a beautiful pattern, and I remember it fondly.
It's a lovely pattern.
So this particular version is knitted not in Shetland, which was what we originally used for Japan.
Yeah, this was in the Sorcia. So quite a few years ago, I was working with Uist Wool, the lovely mill in the Hebrides, and I'd helped with them setting up from the very beginning, giving them ideas about marketing and whatever. And I asked if they would spin us a yarn, because I wanted to use, organic, rare breed fibres. So local farm in Fife, I took the clip of their Cheviot, Texel. They had a couple of Blue-Faced Leicester.
Blue-Faced Leicester. Mm-hmm.
And a few Shetland, which is why we had this gorgeous colour, because the Shetland was mixed into the final mix. And 20% cashmere from Mongolia that had been processed as fair trade and processed in France. And because the Scots and Scotland has a long tradition of spinning cashmere, I wanted to put it in to add a different element to it. So went up to Uist, spent a week with them and developed the yarn, which was a really exciting thing to do. love this colour. We had the natural and then this. And we made 2 great batches.
Yes. So it was always a limited edition yarn, but we like to offer something different when we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really passionate about regenerative farming and so over the years, actually, the first yarn I think I developed was in 1985, and that was spun in Argyll, and that was with Gotland fleeces from 2 farms.
No, you speak about the Gotland quite often, don't you?
Yeah, and they were actually very beautiful fleeces. I think sometimes Gotland can be a bit harder nowadays because of a different breeding program, but then it was absolutely exquisite. So so yum.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's lovely that we've still got some of the Sorsha, because we're sold out of that now. But when we
somebody's just asked for 3 thanks. I'm trying to find balls of it and bits. She wants it she loves it, and she's knitted several things. So I'm searching, so we might find some in here.
You never know.
What we might
you
find.
Never know.
Might find in here.
Never know. Well, this brings us right up to date, actually.
Yeah.
Because this is a sample of the newest regenerative yarn that we're involved in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the Scottish merino. This is chunked up a bit because, again, we were asked to do something for a company in a chunkier yarn. A company that really loved the story and the provenance of the fleece and the yarn. Really loved the handle. It is lovely.
The handle is amazing.
It is lovely to knit.
Yeah.
And you put some of our own Lalland in to give it a bit of a zing.
The chartreuse.
So yeah. I mean, we now have this as our bellwether yarn, because bellwether was your original trademark. I have one of your vintage sweaters, which I love to wear, that has a bellwether label in the back of the neck.
Yeah. And of course, the sheep symbol is a bellwether.
The actual bellwether that looks after the flock.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
really nice connotation.
So you've come full circle.
Yeah, full circle.
I joined you halfway through, but you've come
in
full
one
circle.
little box.
So
one little drawer.
Yes, just goes to show you can never quite tell what you're going to find when you open up. And we haven't finished yet, but I think we've probably got through most of what's in here. Some patterns and recreating. Sometimes we take something like this sleeve, and obviously we only had a limited amount of this cashmere for the show, but because we work for other companies, we revisit things in different yarns. I mean, at the moment we're revisiting quite a few things in the bellwether to see how they work,
absolutely,
how it all fits together. So this, I think, was what we did. It looks like our Manos yarn, Manos Classic.
It was actually for the Dumfries House project.
That's right.
Yeah, for one of the big panels.
Yes, because we did a big cable. We did a big cable section.
Yeah,
we did a big cable section, and that's well remembered.
Yeah, and that's in the Manos hand spun.
It was definitely the Manos, but
from Uruguay.
I was thinking, why was that there?
Yeah, that's what that's for.
Yeah. Well, goodness,
and on to the next. So thank you so much for joining Sheila and I in that little exploration of drawer number 1. And thanks for coming along on the journey. And if you want to look up some of the patterns that we've mentioned on Ravelry and on our website, look for the links that will come with this little film. And we really hope you'll join us for the next.
Who knows what we're going to find?
Who knows what we're going to find?
Yep.
And any questions, do just message.
See you next time.